And we're back. Let's see what's going on here. Hello, hello. Oh, where did my tablet go? My tablet's been doing this thing where it disconnects. That's okay. I guess I just won't use my pen today. We'll spend most of today in After Effects anyway, so that's fine probably. Mischief time begins. Okay, so we've got this. Let me know if the music is too loud. Yeah, so we've got this. We're trying to get it to be here. This is the style frame I'm going off of, and we need to turn all of this stuff into hard lines, so that we can do some After Effects magic, which we'll get into in a second. Today we're going to be doing the hair. This bit, you can see that it's got some soft bits, some hard bits, some very light qualities to it, and I really want to capture that. We're going to do the hair and the clothing. I want to capture that because it's a really nice effect. And it will not be the easiest thing. I have figured out the hand, so I'm confident that we can do it, but it's going to take a little bit of working. So before we get into the hair for today, I'm actually going to pop over into the After Effects project. I believe we do it like that. There we go. Okay. So, here's After Effects. It's beautiful. And you can see here, this is the finished goop part, the finished hand. And it's kind of like a puzzle, and we're going to go through that, and I'm going to explain kind of what's going on, because it's weird. It's a bit strange. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. So this should look somewhat familiar. This is the cell that we were looking at in Clip Studio just a second ago. And we make it look like this. This is the final transition. It's cool. I think it's cool. Animate does this thing where all of the lines have to be aliased, and all of the compositing is done in After Effects using keys and masks and blurring, and some plugins and all that. And it's really fun. So we start here, and you can see each of these pieces have a different color to them, and I think it's going to be pretty apparent why. But the thing I wanted to point out beforehand is how some of these have overlapping. So this blue bit is the blue that indicates it's being overlapped by the green and also by the blue here. I picked a different color. You can see it's the same thing for this magenta and green. It crosses into this pink. So that's really important for masking. And I even had to do it. I did it very subtly with difference in color between like this part and this part, just because I need to be able to key all of these things out separately and manipulate them separately. So let's get into it. I think this is going to be kind of fun. and then I'll get into the hair. We'll do that. We'll try to do that all. So let's see. I'll start with the fingers. So the fingers are this. Part of it. The soft part on the fingers is like this. And this is really, there's a lot going on here. Despite the fact that it looks simple, it's really not. So I'm going to turn all of these off and I'm going to go through it one by one. So let's just turn this mat off for now. So we have this here. The first step is to key out what will become the final shape here, right? So we need this. We need it to be all blurred and feathered and soft and nice, and we've got to get there. So we use this color keep plugin. It's free. It's just look up F's plugins After Effects if you want to follow along at home. Color keep basically takes every color that we've selected here. So this blue is for the blue, the pink is for the pink. We grab everything that we need, and eventually we fill it, and then we gauge and blur it to make this really nice soft effect. But there are some problems here. First of all, you can see why I did these other colors, these like intersection colors, I think I called them, the intersection here. It's because I want this piece to be its own piece. So this guy here, we can see that it has to be blurred, and it's also all hard edges. So that needs to stay I guess intact, but we also need to blur this green part. And if we just blurred the green, sorry, this document isn't really set up for showing like this. I'm gonna try to do it. If we just blurred this green, it would have like kind of a gross edge here. It wouldn't be a full shape. It wouldn't go underneath the part we cut out before. So to kind of get around that, we have to select this whole shape, and then we can fill it, and then we can blur it, and then it goes underneath. Nope. Then it goes underneath this, right? So that's kind of the puzzle here that we're trying to figure out, is what do we need to blur? What do we need to have be solid? And then what are the masks? We'll get into the masks in just a sec. Because if I just did this here, if I turn this back on, you can see that the blur goes all the way out. It goes up to the edge, right? Because we selected these colors that would make it up too. So it goes out to the edge, but there's no keeping it within the shape. It goes and it does whatever it wants. So there's a couple levels of masking. The first is this one. The first is not this one. What does this do? Hold on. What the heck? Oh, right. Okay. So yes. So filling these lines is kind of important, because if not, then it gets kind of spotty. And if we just blur, oh, that's kind of pretty. If we just blur this, it's a weaker shape. I don't know. I probably didn't need to do that, but I did, and it's fine. And then the set matte, you really can't tell, but it's keeping this shape within the actual bounds of the shape here. So if I didn't have the set matte, it would go over the edge, and I don't want that. So so now we've got this fun blur. It's going off the edge here though, and also it might be, oh no, never mind, I took that out. It's not clean, and we got to clean it up. So the other thing I did was make a matte layer here. So this matte, this is everything that I want the this glow, this like light soft airbrush to be contained within. And so it's fine if it goes in this red area, right? It's fine if it goes in this red area or over this other stuff. But it shouldn't go out beyond that. It shouldn't fill in this circle. It shouldn't go beyond that. And so I set this to be a matte. And then we're there. See that? It's like magic. So now we've got that. And it's pretty cool. You can see I did that twice. There's 2 levels of glow. There's this one which is stronger, and then this one which is weaker. It's the exact same process. For this one as well, I also lowered the opacity because I wanted to be closer to the reference. So it's just these shapes that were keyed out from all that, and then it's expanded, kept in, and then filled, and then blurred. So, and then masked with a mask that there we go. It's filled by that. So you'll notice it doesn't go outside of the edge here because I didn't want this feather to spill over into this area. So I had to cut it off, and that was by making a mask. I'm calling them masks. They're actually mats. Don't worry about it. Let's keep going. So I'm gonna turn those guys off. And that's pretty much it. The only other thing is these guys here, right? And this was more straightforward, and this is going to be a lot more along the lines of what we're going to be dealing with the hair. Because all those crazy intersections were just to make larger expanded areas for the feathering, for the glow to not like go crazy and go or not to be too small, I guess. But these are easy. I just take all of the colors that I want. These are the colors I want. I replace them all, so the blue, the blue becomes whatever color. And then I duplicate that and then just slap a Gaussian blur on it. And you can see that this isn't quite enough, so I slapped a couple on there. And each of these have different blurriness radiuses. So it creates more of a nice feather instead of just the default After Effects blur, which is not good. But this is fine. This is where it needs to go. And then it's just a matter of layering. So all that is on top of the blur glow we already created. I ended up having to hide the green because obviously the initial cell that we started with, this thing, is all the wrong color. And so it's got this green and this red and all this nonsense stuff. And so for that, you got to go in and do pixel replaces. So you turn the red and the green all into this kind of color. And then you're left with this. So everything is the color that it should be. And this took me a while to figure out, but now that I know how, I think it's going to be a lot quicker. Okay, so that's the lesson out of the way. I hope you learned a lot or had something to listen to in the background or whatever you're using the stream for. And then we can go back here. So just for a recap, because we're about to do the same thing for the hair, and it's going to be easier, but still a process. So everything we need to blur, so I needed to blur this green. We need to make sure it has enough space so that the blur doesn't stop just on the edge here. And I can show you kind of more of what that would look like. So if we put a Gaussian blur just on the screen here, shoot, never mind. Since there are layers here, it won't show right. But the image we're working in After Effects has no layers. There's not any more. So like this green has more under. Excuse me. Yeah, this green has more underneath it, right? But in the other one it doesn't, and so basically we have to make this blue and this pink be the green underneath it. So we have to make it all green, and then we have to make it all the color we want it at the end to feather it. So that's these like larger areas. And the only place we have that here, I believe, is this part of the hair. Because if we look, this is the only part that's really soft with, oh, that's not true. There's this part with this like very subtle shading here, which is soft and it meets a hard edge. And then we also have this kind of pinker color here, which is soft and then it meets a hard edge. So I've already done it with the pink. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this pink, we're going to make this blue also the pink. So this is going to be the same color. It's going to look like that. And then we're going to blur this whole thing. We're going to turn this blue back into the yellow. So that it looks right? But the whole pink thing with the part underneath will also be blurred. So that'll be good. And then hold on. We don't want this to spill out into this darker color. We don't want the pink to spill out into this darker color. Also, excuse me. Nope. Come on. Great. We'll make that, and then we'll make these. And then we'll get rid of that, and that should be fine. So I don't think this is going to be an issue, because if we just blur this, right? And I might actually just demonstrate it. No, it would take too long. You'll see it. It'll be fine. The only other part where a soft blur meets a hard line, if we look at, so we've got this pink here, and the only other place is this bit up here. So we have to basically make it so it's big enough to not be super thin, because if we just blurred this, it would pretty much turn into nothing. And so we want the blur to be radiating out, and then this dark part of the hair covers it up. Again, I'm sorry if this is confusing. We will get to it. I hope it will all be clear by the end of this. So what I'm getting to is we have to do this blue thing, this blue part, for the gray part here. And the reason that I didn't do that before was because I didn't notice it until I was just looking at it now. So let's take a color we haven't used that yet, because that's super important in color keying and masking. The two things that are really important with that is using aliased lines, so there's no opacity. There's no opacity in any of this. We do that all later in compositing. And the other thing is everything has to be a different color. Even if I want to blur, this green over here and this green over here, but I want them to have different behaviors, this green is actually a very, very slightly different color than this green, because I wanted to be able to key them separately. This kind of brownish is a very, very slightly different color than this brownish, because I wanted to be able to key it and add it to the green here, and to not have this part added to the green, because that would make all this blur like the green part does, and I didn't want that. So we have to add something else here. And I'm gonna do this with the line tool here because I don't have my pen working today. No, tired guy, you can't have it. I'm sorry. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna slap all this stuff in here. Bop, 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 ba-dop, bop. Fill in these here. And that looks great, except for the parts on the edge, which look... Did I do that on that layer? Fine, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's just clean up the edges here. Okay, that looks a wee bit strange. She has a funky headband going on, but it will help us down the line. Okay, let's export this. We export it as Targa files, because that's what we do. I know you can't see this, but I'm incrementing the number. Okay. And then we'll bring it into here. Just give me a sec. I'm gonna switch the display in just a moment. I should probably check the chat here. Okay. Hello, tired guy. I realize you're commenting. My setup currently does not allow for me to read the chat. I hope you're enjoying. All right, and for whoever else is there, I hope you're enjoying as well. Let's keep going here. All right. So here we are back in After Effects. The hand is all good. And again, since this is all one image, you can see that this is still here, right? The original thing we're working with is still... Hold on. Where's this yellow coming from? Where in the world is this yellow coming from? There shouldn't be that yellow. Okay, whatever. It looks right up at the top of the screen, so we're just gonna keep going. We've got to do this in a different place now. So I'm just gonna add to the top here. And hope it's fine. We'll start by duplicating this, and this will be kind of our top half one, right? We'll solo it, so we're only looking at it, and then we have to figure out. This is where the puzzle comes in. We have to figure out and remember what's solid, what's liquid, and what's hold on. What's solid and what's feathered, and then also what goes on top of each other. So the immediate ones that I can think of, which is where we'll start, I guess, and I'm going to duplicate this just so we have another one up here. I'm going to start with this yellow. No, not that yellow. This yellow. Is that the same? No, it's not. So we're going to go in here. We're going to bring up color keep. Oh, this is an OLM plugin. Okay, also free. Don't worry about it. Color keep. So what we want is this yellow color here, not that yellow color. I don't know why that's here. This yellow color along the hair here. And we also want this blue color, because the blue is going to eventually turn into yellow, which is what we're about to do right now. So let's set this to 2. Let's set this to 2. Grab both the yellow and the blue and turn it on. Okay, great. So every instance of this color yellow and this color blue is being selected right now. And all we have to do, since this is just a hard, we don't have to do any feathering or any fancy stuff. It's just the hard color. That's all we need. We're going to do a fill. Drop a fill in there on top. And then we need, shoot. Oh, it's fine. We'll just grab this color because that's already the color we need. Okay, so that fills it. So we took the blue and we turned it back into yellow. Remember that blue. Remember that blue is kind of the Venn diagram, right? So if we turn it back on, it's all good, it looks like. And I'm going to turn this adjustment layer off. That just makes all of the lines smooth. We will use that obviously later, but we will not use it now. So that's that. Looking good. I really wish this skin color wasn't yellow because it's making it hard to remember what's hair highlight and what's not. But the yellow on the hair is correct. Okay, let's go back. Let's take the other one that we made a duplicate of. Make a duplicate of that. We gotta make sure let's start naming this. Hair highlight 1, because we have this other hair highlight. So if we want to do something with that, we'll do it separately. All right, let's take this. Let's just grab it there. I think this is going to be a one-step thing. I don't know how much. That's a lie. That's a lie. I just lied. It's fine now. It's fine. This won't be nearly as challenging as the hand, but we'll have to do some stuff here. Okay, so let's go back. Let's do the color keep. Color keep. Turn it off so we can actually see everything. We want the this kind of crappy orange. And we also want the blue here, remember, because that's the Venn diagram. We want the blue to be able to be yellow, and we also want it to be able to be this kind of red, because when we hide it, like so, we can fill it. Just add that back, fill. We can fill it to be the right color. Does that kind of makes sense? So if we turn both of these, I guess we'll just turn the whole thing off. So we have this yellow on top, but we also have underneath it, this whole thing is kind of this red color. And I honestly might show, yeah, okay, I'm going to show what happens if we don't do what I just did. So if we turn this off, if we just go back down to 1 here, something happened. Okay. If we just go back to 1 here, if we solo this, we just see this. So this is not including the yellow / blue here. And yeah, so it's not including the yellow / God, come on. So the yellow / blue is not there. What happens if we blur this? Let's just show that up. Gaussian blur. It just blurs this shape, right? And so if we go back to the main thing, hold on, hold on. We gotta do something real quick. So we add this color as a target, and we want to make it this color, and then we turn that on. Come on. What's going on here? Why is that not replacing? Oh, it's because I'm doing the wrong thing. Okay, much better. Perfect. Okay, so it's gone. What I just did was I replaced this color with the color of the hair. So the shape is still technically there, but it's the same color as the hair now, so you can't actually tell. So that looks great. If we go back up, what? It came back. Who brought it back? Who invited it? Oh. Hold on. Okay, perfect. So you can see this here, but if you'll notice here, there's this crappy like gap here, right? Because the hair glow 1. Remember to keep your files named. The hair glow 1 is it's just blurring this shape, right? And if you blur this shape with these lines cut the way they are, you're gonna get something that's here. You're not gonna get something that goes underneath. Not something that goes underneath anything. It's just gonna blur that shape, because remember, there's no layer data. It's just the pixels that are there. So if we want it to fill like this area and like in these cracks here, we need a bigger space. We need it to go beyond that. So what we do, how we manage that, is if we turn this off, and go back here, we can add this blue. We can add this blue back into it. Ta-da! And so we're just keeping these two colors. And if we fill it to all be the same color and we blur it, you see it goes all the way down here. It's the whole package. And so when we go back here, there is no gap. Okay, well, there's a little bit of gap, but it's on the edge. There's no gap here, right? And that's good. That's exactly what we want. I'm gonna turn the line art back on. I don't know how that got turned off. So there's a bit of a problem over here. That's fine. I don't think it's worth fixing, honestly. What is worth fixing, of course, is the glow that goes beyond it. So if you remember to the hand, we had to create a matte layer that was only the parts of the hand that we wanted the glow to be on. So let's do that now. We will duplicate that again. We'll call this hair glow, what, matte 1, maybe? Let's go in here. Let's pick out just the parts we want to keep. So we'll go back to color, keep, ta-da. Turn it off so we can actually see it. And we pretty much just want it to be on where the this kind of red color already was, where the blue already was, and then where this hair color is. And specifically not this, because we don't want it to bleed over there. But we do want it to bleed up and out here. So that's pretty straightforward. Let's just grab those. 1, 2, 3, fine, 3, 4. Honestly, we can just do the 3. It doesn't have to go. No, we'll do the 4. Okay. So we'll grab that. We'll grab that. We'll grab that. And we'll grab the yellow here. We do not want to grab this yellow here, because if we added this into the matte layer, then it would be able to go over the line here, and that's not what we want. So that should be good. Let's turn it on and see how it looks. Perfect. Okay, we have a little bit of a problem here. I'm turning this off. Just 3. Okay, I was right the first time. It's fine. This might be a little bit funky, but I don't think it will be. So now that we've got this, we're gonna set it to this yellow color, because that's what I'm using for mats. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag the hair glow track matte onto here. And what that'll do is it'll hide the layer that we just made and make this glow only go within it. So it's only going on the boundaries we set here, right? And I think it looks pretty good, honestly. At least to begin with. We can crank this up a bit. It gets a little bit weaker here. You know, I was talking about how the edges will be weak like that if you don't extend it, and that's what happens there. If I really wanted to, I could have this chunk of the hair be its own key and then include it so that this all is like that really strong main color, right? We might do that later. We're gonna move on for now. I think that's where we want it. Let's just take a look back here. Go back here. Yeah, that has the strong thing there throughout, but I think everything else looks fine. Should we do it? What's our time looking like? 35 minutes. Okay, we might do it. Hold on. Yeah, we'll do it. Why not? So again, we want this this pink color here to be included in the here, so we can blur this whole thing, and then it just blurs up here. All of this part down here is still really, really strong of this color, even when it's blurred. So let's take a new color, because that's what we have to do for matting. Let's do this purple. That looks nice. Okay. So we're going to do that. We're going to resave the target file. And again, I know you can't see it. Just trust the process. Version 14. That's how many I'm up to here. version 14 of just this one image. Okay, we'll go slot it back up there and then go back up here. Okay. Navigating After Effects or navigating OBS. All right, so now we want to include this purple with this, and we also need to, very, very importantly, we also need to turn it to be the right color. So we're going to go into the bottom layer here, the very, very bottom, which has everything that isn't being messed with to be the right color. And we're going to add a new one here. So target 10. We grab that, we turn it to, I believe it's this color, we turn it on, and we're great. So that's just so that it looks fine when we make the change later. Let's go back up, we'll go into hair glow. We will add, oh, shoot. Oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. We'll turn this off. We'll turn this off. Dang, we need that purple, man. Okay, we'll turn this off. We'll turn the purple back on. I guess I needed that. Hair glow. Crank this up to 3. I don't love how this add-on is managed. It's a little bit wonky. And you can't shift these around easily, which is a little bit frustrating. But let's test it out. If we turn these back on, hold on. Okay. What? Why is it not grabbing that? Let's turn this mat off for a sec. Oh, of course. Okay, it is grabbing it. We're just not matting it correctly. So we've got to go back here, add a 4th one to the mat. So that... Wait, no we don't. Wait, hold on. Am I going crazy? Well, I hit the wrong number, so maybe. No, we want to mat this out. We just want the glow to come from it. Shoot. Hold on. How have I not come up with this before? Okay, let's just try this out. We've got that on, we've got the mask, and we'll crank up the blur. Yeah, so that's what it shouldn't look like, pretty much. But the mat's totally wrong now. You see, this is a nice color now. But it is still there because Shoot. Okay, hold on. How do I do this? Man, I shouldn't have done this. This is not necessary. Okay, it looks nice though. So we need to have... what are we looking at here? We need to have this shape have this here, but not have it be matted. If I take this out... Oh. Oh, perfect. Okay, that's what we wanted. Great. The fact that it is matted does not mean that it's not there. I have to remember that. Even if we can't see it, this acts like different layer properties, layer information, and so we can do that, and it looks great. Okay, the hair's done, or this glow part of the hair is done, and the highlights part of the hair is done. So let's move up here. This is going to be the same thing, and I believe it's going to be a lot simpler. Because we just need to make the green and the pink here be its own layer, and then just blur it, and then only matte it to this part of the hair color. So let's do that, and let's see what happens. Duplicate this, we'll make this hair soft shadow, and there's only one of those, so that should be fine. We'll move it. See where it is fine. Solo it. We will color keep just this and this. Turn color keep back on. Bam. Easy peasy dunzo. What I haven't been doing is doing F's max to get rid of these lines here. Honestly, it's not that important, but I will just show because I kind of skipped over it before. And then matte, set matte to the alpha layer. That doesn't seem to make a difference, but we'll keep it there anyway. If I just blur this, so say I were to fill... There is a fill color. It is broken, looks like. Okay, we'll just use a regular fill. Set it... Crap. Oh no. Nope. You know what? We're gonna make an executive decision that this color will be the same as this color because I don't want to deal with what we would have to do otherwise. Okay. So color keep, made it that color. Why is this? Hold on. It should not be like that. What happened? What in the world? Okay, whatever. That must have just got moved somehow. Is it good? It's good. Okay, so this looks like that, but you can see it's over here because it took the green part too. And I knew that green was going to be keyed out later. I don't love that. Nope, it'll be fine. We'll figure that out in the map. So let's just keep going. Let's just trust the process, please. Gaussian blur spelled wrong. Pop. That looks pretty funny, honestly. You can see this is actually a really good example of that. The reason that we have to add this green part. Because it would basically all be like this, but it would just be for the pink. So there would be this horrible edge here. This shape would just be like this instead of going all the way back there. So that's why we do that. Unfortunately, as you can see, it does do that on the edge, which I don't love, but let's deal with that later, huh? So we're gonna go back here. We're gonna go down to the base layer. We're gonna add some more color changes. We're gonna turn this into that. Turn it on. And we're gonna turn this into that. Turn it on. And how does that look? That should be exactly where that is. Okay. Did I turn? What's that blue there? Oh, it's because I duplicated this yellow and okay, cool, that's fine. Okay. Ew, yeah, you know what? I don't love that. It's fine. We'll deal with that later if we need to. There's a way we can deal with it, but it's more annoying. Also, we can deal with the fact that it's not showing on the edge here. We can deal with that too. If we need to, but it'll take more work. Okay, back up. What are we looking at? That, great. Looks not where it's supposed to be right now. So again, we need to have a matte layer that goes beneath it. Let's duplicate that. We'll show it and we'll solo it. We'll do color. Keep. OLM's got me. Turn it off so we can see what we're doing. And we only want it to be covering where the pink, where the pink already was, and also where it goes into the rest of the hair color. So we're going to slap this up too. We're going to grab so, and we're going to grab so. I feel like I keep moving this. Okay. Great. So this is the only area that the this pink glow is gonna be chilling. Turn that off. We figure out what happened. Oh, of course. Phil. Nope, doesn't matter. This is a matte. It doesn't matter what the colors are because they're going to be hidden. Let's go back up here. And let's set the matte to be there. And now turn it on. And oh, isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? Okay. It's a bit strong. It's a wee bit strong. Let's go back in and crank up the blurriness. Ooh. Ooh. How does that look, huh? How does that look? All right. Great. I think that looks really good. Let's go back and check dust source. Here we are. So with this, it goes a little bit further down here. And it goes all the way up to the edge there. And like I said, we could deal with that, but it would take more work. Overall, it looks like it's a bit stronger. So what I'm going to do... is I'm going to duplicate this a couple times. And each time we do, it's going to get a little bit stronger, right? And with each one, just to mix it up a little bit, we're going to blur it slightly more and slightly less. So hopefully all of that, we can make this a different color. Make it a peach. No, I don't like that. Make it a green. Perfect. If we solo all of this, yeah. How does that look, huh? So you can see it's just covering what's already, or what we matted, right? Oops. And it's looking pretty good. To me, I don't know why. To me, it looks like this is lighter than out here. I don't know if that's true or not, though. Oof, and it is really quite a bit different when it comes to the softness of it. So let's bring... Let's bring this guy down opacity-wise. So it's just a little bit more body. we can add the other two back. Which is the one with this one? Okay, this one's really, really faded, so we should keep that. Let's just bring the opacity of this down a bit. And then I'm actually going to bring this one down a little bit more. Okay. So that should be a nice soft touch on the hair. I'm noticing, just looking back, the color might be a little bit wrong. But it's fine. I think it still looks how it should. This is quite a bit softer, actually, the hair glow here. So let's crank this down just a touch. Okay, that looks good. Great. And then these little highlights here, those are solid. The shadow up here is solid. This bounce light down here is solid. The last thing we've got to do is this, and this is going to be the easiest thing by far. We've got to make it be this color, which is pretty easy. We know what this color is. It's that. So I'm gonna make one more. What is this? What is this? Oh, is that our mat? That's our mat. Okay, we can hide you. We don't need our mats right now. Let's get rid of those. Okay. It doesn't look hidden. Great. Bam. Okay, let's hide all this. Yep, hide all this. And this time, oh, we are gonna need to mat it actually, whoops. This time we're gonna do a color keep, believe it or not. Very surprising. Yeah, you know, if you've been following along, this might be kind of a new stage, new step that we haven't gone over. Okay, that looks great. Ew. I want it to go to the edge here, though. Remember, if we just blur this shape as it is, it's gonna have this really gross line here where it connects. Okay, well, you can't see it there because we need to turn it off here. So once again, we're gonna go grab this color, grab this color, turn it on, and it's gone. Great. So you can see it has this kind of gross edge here. What I might do, so what this means is I have to turn this pink into the dress glow. And that means that we have to go and key it out, because if I just key the pink now, if I just include the pink here, turn the Gaussian blur off, please. If I just key the pink and solo it, you can see it's like this. And if I were to make it the color it's supposed to be, let me grab the color it's supposed to be so we can fill it later. Fill. Fill. No, not you. You. Great, except for we want the color keep back. Right. So this makes this stuff up here do that. And so if we were to turn the blur back on, it would blur this, and it would put those up here. And we do not want that. We do want this, because oof, look at that body in there. That's a really consistent color, as opposed to what we had before, which was this, which has this kind of gross line in there. So we have to key this pink out now, so we can just grab it. Let's go back to the lab. So this is Clip Studio Paint again. This is where we're doing our actual editing of the cells. Let's grab this down here, and we can choose a different purple. I kind of don't mind this down here being purple. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We don't need this whole thing to be it. We can just do that. I'm not using this anywhere else. Good. Let's export it out. Trust me that I'm exporting it. 15, version 15. Let's go up. Back here. Let's re-import it. Oof, okay, fine. Re-imported it. So that's there. Let's just key this out at the beginning here. So that the base color is correct and we don't have the weird purple underneath when we actually want it to be the right color. So we'll turn that on. That should be what it will look like eventually. We'll go back up to the dress glow layer, crank this up to 2. No. Okay, I did this backwards again. Oh, wait, but it's fine. It is really funny if you don't have the fill on, but you do have the Gaussian blur on, because it makes this like really like kind of fun kaleidoscope effect, and it's nice. Okay, turn that off though. We'll grab that. When we turn this back on, it turns all of this into the color of the glow we want, right? And then we can blur all of it. But once again, since we don't want all this, we just want the part on the dress, we've got to matte it out. And this time it's going to be pretty easy because the only thing we want it to be touching is this dress color. And I believe it's a different color from the hair. It wasn't at one point, but I think I planned ahead for this. Yep, different color than the hair. So we can just duplicate this. Do our favorite OLM color keep like so. Just grab this dress color, slap it on. Label it dress glow matte. We'll hide it. Wait, we will not hide it because we need to grab it. And then we'll just make the matte be that. Okay, that's not what I was going for. It's fine though. So there's 2 ways to get around this. You can see it's just matting this and it's not matting the actual color of the thing. Nope, there's only one way to get around it. I just forgot to grab that color. Let's go back here. Let us grab... Okay, stop that for now. Gotta turn that off. Let's grab... Wait a minute. That won't be right anyway. It's fine. Let's grab that. So this... Man! I'm slipping. I'm fumbling. Okay. That is what we want the matte to be. We want it to include the original place. Otherwise, it would be just the rough edge, which could be a cool effect, but not what we're going for now. We'll turn that off. We'll put the matte back on, so it's just there. We'll turn the blur back. Oh, now isn't that good? You're kidding me. All right, whatever. That does not matter. So you can see that this part down here is overlapping that. What I could have done, what I should have done, what I didn't realize I should have done was take the dress glow and instead of making this whole area purple, just drawing this shape pretty much. And just making that purple, but I didn't think of that, and so we have this whole thing being blurred, and it's fine. It's fine. No one's gonna see this down here. It's literally not even on frame. I don't know why I'm doing any of this. Pretty much none of this is gonna be on frame. Okay, let's mat it again, like so. And I think that looks pretty good. Let's keep this in mind as we transition back down here into what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, okay. So I'm just noticing it's a little bit strong. I'm gonna turn down the strength a bit. Again, this part isn't really even gonna be on screen, so it doesn't matter, but... Oops. Sorry, we'll go back there. Yeah, that looks better. I lost the shadow there. What's going on here? Hair glow. I'm looking for hair glow. Gaussian blur back on. Great. Great. That's great. We'll shy these guys so we don't have the maps showing. Good practice. Okay, the purple that we masked for the hair down here is not showing, which is great. The hard lines that we wanted are hard, which is great. The soft lines that we wanted soft is great, and they are kept where they should be. They're not going off the edge of the character. They're not going into the parts of the colors that we don't want. This is a bit more glow down here, but that's fine. And overall, it matches what we have on the style frame, what we're going for. That's the important part. So that's the hair done. Why don't we head back here? This is again what we're going for. This is the full cell. But we took this and got very, very close. I would say indistinguishable at a glance close, and that's what we needed to do. So the only other adjustments I might make later on, and this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, was if you'll remember this pink here, it has like a blur. It's like a soft blur here on the edge. And you can see that that's not how it is here, but the reason that it is like that is because it goes in from the edge. So that's not great. What I would do, right, is I would basically make it go beyond. And then fill this in. And so this whole shape would be blurred. And so when I just cut it off here, right, this blur would extend all the way over here and then just not be shown. So that would be the proper way to do this, to achieve more of a shape like this. But I don't think it's necessary. I think it would just take a little bit too long. I want to keep going. The skin is really the hard part. The skin has been left for last for a reason. What we have to do is have a color change along the hard part here, which is the same thing we did there. It'll just look like this again, and then we'll key all that out and blur that. The hard part is going to be the really, really soft, subtle changes here, right? We've got this is slightly darker, this is slightly lighter. This area is all darker, and it's all really, really subtle, and you don't notice it, but your brain subconsciously figures it out. The other thing is I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the fingers and mask the glow there. I'm gonna mask the glow here, which will be easy. But overall, it's gonna be a lot closer to the goop than it was the hair. The hair was a lot easier. And then finally, and then there's this like very soft glow around the face here, and that's super important for the scene. And then the last part will be the eyes, and the eyes will be really easy because there's no feathering, right? This is hard. I mean, obviously they're soft shapes because that's the brush that was used. But like this is a pink here, and that's a different pink than this pink, which is a different pink than this pink, which is a different than this red, which is different than this red. All of those shapes are just going to be solid shapes. We might blur the... No, we're not going to do that. Yeah, the eyes are going to be completely solid, and that'll be great after the slog that's going to be the skin here. So I hope you guys join me next time as we tackle that. I know I am very, very inconsistent with my activity on YouTube. Believe it or not, I have been doing stuff. I will probably post it on YouTube soon, but it's not there for now. And then I also might give kind of a better look at where this current project is, because I understand that for now we've pretty much just been looking at this one cut. And to be fair, it's because it's a cool cut and it's complicated and it looks, you know, it's cool. I like it. But there's a lot more to this project. It's, yeah, and it's starting to come together into the final couple stages here. So I hope y'all look forward to that. And yeah, catch you on the next one.